Hey guys, Tian here. Today's topic is one I've always found interesting, and I always hear people talk about. They'll use words like, what do they say specifically? Like, I gain better off junk food, or I feel junk food is needed in the off season to grow optimally, faster, or better, or just generalized comments like that. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard such or even thought such. So what I wanted to talk about this with, because a lot of people will go, oh, it's because they're thinking, it's more calories, which is true, but they don't realize. I feel like people don't fully realize the reason why, and it's not because you're eating junk food, but it is. So let me try and explain this. Um, let's say somebody's eating McDonald's, a McDonald's meal versus a meal at home. Essentially, let's break that down. And also, a part of this is to how can you gain like your on junk food, and why are gains sometimes crappy. Some people get really crappy gains eating clean food, and they don't really realize why. And I'm going to explain how to do that healthy as well, like it's eating junk food, kind of. So let me explain. So let's compare a McDonald's meal to a meal at home that somebody would eat clean. Let's use a hamburger meal or a chicken burger meal. It doesn't really matter. Versus at home. So let's compare the two and see what's missing and why the actual junk food is better and how to make it the same but healthier. So you get the chicken or beef burger. What are you getting there? You're getting chicken or beef. Okay, you eat the same at home. You have a chicken breast or you have some beef. The fat may vary depending on the fat you're eating. Then you'll have some bread. You could eat some bread at home, sure, same carbs, same whatever. And then you'll have fries. Same thing with eating the clean meal at home. There is no issue in you having, a chicken breast or some ground beef, and you cooking some potato with it. Um, so that is basically the same meal, right? Literally the same meal. The only difference here is the cooking method. So you're having chicken or beef, you're having potato. The only thing is the bread, but you can make up that with more potato or rice, essentially same thing, or have some bread. You know what I mean? Even though I don't like the use of bread. Either way, so you can match the potato, have the same amount of potato. Okay, 60 grams of carbs of potato from each meal. Match the amount of ground beef. I don't know, 150 grams. Whatever. How many burgers? I don't know. Whatever you're eating. So your protein is the exact same. Your carbs are exact same. What is the only difference between the meals? That makes it your meal at home 600 calories and the meal at McDonald's 900 calories. If you have the exact amount of potatoes, exact fat of ground beef or chicken breast or whatever you're eating, your protein is exactly the same and your carbs is exactly the same. There's only one thing missing from here, and that is literally the fats. And why or how are the fats missing that somebody wouldn't eat at a clean meal at home? Is because those foods are deep fried. The fries are deep fried. The chicken burger is deep fried. So you are getting immensely more fats. And people will think, oh, I just gained better off junk food. But if you actually use your logic here, you realize that you're gaining better off junk food because you're eating more. And here's a funny thing: people try and make up the calories at the clean meal at home by adding more potato, and it's more voluminous and more filling. If they realize if they just added the fats to that meal, you would have the same volume of food and taste better, and just as tasty because you're having more fats, and fats are tasty. If you just added more fats to your clean meal at home. The other thing with this, the main big difference is one meal is deep fried with very bad fats, essentially. In the meal at home, you would be able to use a healthier fat, seed oil or vegetable oil, not vegetable oil itself, but a vegetable oil like olive oil or whatever oil you prefer, and that's healthy. And different ones are different amounts of healthy. And I'm not going to get into the oil talk. But yeah, you could have the same amount of fats and the same amount of calories if you just replace those fats, which would replace the calories, make the clean meal just as much weight gain or whatever ability or muscle growth ability as the junk food meal, and it would be a million times more healthier because you're not having a deep fried crappy vegetable seed oil. So you have your meal, your potato and chicken or whatever it was to equal your McDonald's meal. Grab a more healthier oil like olive oil. Use that for cooking. I love making potato at home, and I usually cut them up into fries, except I will use a better cooking method, and I'm using a more temperature appropriate oil as well, and I'm using a healthier oil. So you can make your clean meals at home literally just as much calories and the same exact food volume, easier to eat, better to eat, and I personally enjoy it more. And it is going to be a million times more healthier, and of course, cheaper than you eating, I don't know, 3 meals of McDonald's. I don't know if anybody does that or whatever. Anyways, yeah. So junk food does not cause you to gain weight easier or better. It is simply because the meals you're making at home, you're not replacing those macros, let's say, and or those macros and calories from the junk food meal, because you're likely, because even I long ago didn't even really think about it. You know, it's really easy logic, but you just don't think like, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make my chicken and my potato or rice, whatever, home, and you're not really thinking, oh yeah, I should really make up for all that extra fat that made my meal more tastier and made it more calorie dense and not as much volume. Versus again, most people, anybody who eats at home, they're like, oh, I need to increase my my calorie intake, and I'm going to increase the carbs and the protein more. Yet those same people will complain that, hey, I seem to be gaining better with having a little bit of junk food, and it's like, well, skip the junk food to save your health and just add healthier fats to your current meal, which isn't going to add more volume. So yeah, that's basically was it for that video of why do some people gain easier off junk food, and how to make your food more junk food like. Do I want to say that? Don't really like that, but yeah. I think I was gonna add some meal ideas, an example of because most people don't like eating a chicken breast, and I hate. This is one of the things I also hate, is when people eat too clean during their bulks, and they go for, everybody's all about protein and carbs today, and they just want the bare minimum of fat, because fats is what'll make you fat, and they really undershoot their fat intake. And one of the biggest things I find that hold people back on growth, and again why people feel like they grow better off junk food, is because they're getting more fats. So yeah, with all my meals and like dietary plans that I suggest to people, most of my meats, sometimes all of my meats, will actually be fatty cuts of meat, and then adding oils on top of it as well. So example, you'll never almost see me suggest a chicken breast. It will be chicken breast with skin, or it'll be chicken legs, chicken thighs, chicken drumsticks, and sometimes even chicken wings, depending on like the person's metabolism and their calories they're using. So yeah, your meals do not have to be boring at home. And if you're forcing yourself to eat chicken breast, unless you're cutting, we're talking growing here, there's no reason you shouldn't be eating the fattier cuts of meat. And fats do not make you fat. Certain fatty acid profiles make you fat. So you can't even say the macro group of the fats make you fat. So there's studies on, example that I always quote, there's an article on my website, tan.com, the fat studies. They compared saturated fats to polyunsaturated fatty acids, and they gave them 750 calories extra a day. And the saturated fat group gained almost entirely fat, and the polyunsaturated fat group gained almost entirely muscle. Polyunsaturated fatty acids increase insulin sensitivity. They aid muscle growth, obviously. They increase thyroid hormone sensitivity. So you being afraid of fats, you should be afraid of certain type of fats, because other type of fats will actually aid muscle growth and aid fat loss as well. So yeah, and again, it's not actually about the macro group, but the because you have saturated fatty acids, right? Just like you have polyunsaturated fatty acids, you have omega-3, omega-6. The fatty saturated, there's a plethora of fatty acids that make up different foods that are saturated fats. Example, an egg or a chicken wing or ground beef is also completely different from palm oil, which is what the study, which is what they use in this study. The palm oil saturated fatty acids cause almost entirely fat gain. So don't be afraid of fats. Choose the right fat sources that just aid muscle growth. As I said in the study, 750 calories extra a day, almost entirely muscle growth. And this is why I have a huge focus on fat. So it makes your foods taste better. It makes it easier to gain weight. Fats are way more calorie dense, right? So you're able to eat just a little bit more food and get a whole bunch of calories, and a whole bunch of calories that go for muscle growth. And I hate when people, they will focus on just protein or this, that. And it's like, your muscle isn't made of protein. you take a slab of beef, okay, from a cow, even though we have a bit different, composition of substrate, whatever. It's not all protein. It is phosphorus, it is potassium, it is magnesium, it is zinc, it is fat, it is what you're getting from the beef. That is what your muscle is. So for people really just focusing on pounding back that lean protein, it's like that's not what your muscle is made up of. Muscle is like 7% fat as well. So people really shun fats and avoid fats, and it really, really inhibits their growth. And then they go eat junk food and they gain weight more quicker and think they're bulking better. But half the time it'll be not the right fats. And if they had ate the right fats, they would have gained mostly muscle while eating easier, less volume, and got their gains quicker. So yeah, that's essentially it for that video. Again, guys, I'm just getting back into videos. Hopefully these are easy to follow. Yeah, that's it. So once again, thanks for following, guys. Thank you to my supporters, people who are on my support me on my website and my Facebook group, supporters, you guys here on YouTube who follow, subscribe, and comment. And again, guys, I really appreciate when you guys comment, interact, and you share my videos, because that helps me grow the most. I've said this in the past few videos and I keep saying it again. So appreciate you guys. Thank you. That is what keeps me around, and your guys' words of encouragement. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Take care.